I was out walking the dog this morning and I spotted this little thing on the grass. It's a conker and it started to go, look. So I picked it up and I'm going to plant it in one of my pots. Add to my tree collection. This is hazel, this is walnut, and now I'll have a conker. I'll plant it now and we'll see how it goes. I just want to quickly make this video. It's more on the ongoing police, crime, courts and sentencing saga, and just to look in a little bit more detail about what I was saying yesterday, because yesterday's video I was sort of sprawling somewhat, but the point I was making was basically correct. And if you look at the Parliament's website, I'll show you this here now because this is interesting if you are interested, which I understand most people are not, but you can actually read the debate that they had whenever they have a debate in Parliament. Apparently it gets published here on their website. I'll show you this, hang on. So on the website they have the bill as it comes forward, and then they basically document its progress through the Parliament here. You have the bill as it is introduced with its various explanatory notes and things like that, and this is where I read to get my understanding of what's going on. Excuse me. And then as it goes through to the second hearing, day 2, there's day 1, day 2, you can read it, you click on it and it comes up, and this essentially is a transcript of the whole debate as it happens, and you can read it word for word basically. It's very long, as you can see, so the problem with these things is that if you ever want to study something in detail it takes a long time, but it's worth it. But then that's why I'm here, to try to sort of paraphrase what I've found. And I'm showing you this because it starts off with the speaker and he says, "Before we resume the debate, I want to remind the House what I said regarding blah 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 blah." Hang on. I remind all honourable members, whether they are participating remotely or otherwise, that there is a 3-minute limit to all contributions. For those participating remotely there's a timer, etc, etc. My point is that they each have 3 minutes to talk and make their point, and all of the MPs who contribute have a pre-prepared statement which they read out. They take turns to read it out, and if you read this you'll notice, just the same way as if you watch it live on the Parliament channel, the Labour MPs, this is Clive Lewis, Labour, he starts off straight away talking about this is a, how often have we heard the notion that somehow liberty is an integral part of the English character, and that we fortunate few in this country are somehow different from the rest of humanity. Not for us authoritarianism, autocracy, or, God forbid, the dark slide into fascism. No, that is for other people and other countries, not for us. Yet here we stand yet again with yet another bill from this government stripping the people of this country of yet more liberty and more of the democratic rights. Hang on. Everybody on Labour's side focuses in on this authoritarianism thing, an attack on democracy, an attack on Protestants, an attack on various liberties, and then over on the other side, every time a Conservative stands up to speak, he says, "I want to support this because it delivers on the promises made to increase police powers and enforce new criminal offences and unauthorised camps, etc." And so every time you read this, Conservative, Labour, or that's SNP, that's the Speaker, Conservative, everyone who's a Conservative stands up and applauds the strengths of this important bill, and everyone who's on Labour's side stands up and basically rails against how it's destroying the ancient right to public protest and gives police greater powers and things like that. And so what I was saying yesterday was true, is that you just have two sides of an argument talking over each other. They're not talking to each other or with each other. but that's what the committee stage is for. Anyway, what I'm saying is, this is a very long thing to read, clearly, and there was just 2 points that I want to pull out of it, which I think is important. Is that the first one is that this thing gets thrown around quite casually by Conservatives and the government, is that as if it's like verbatim truth. They say the role of government is to keep people safe, but that's not true. I don't agree with that, and that is, come on, that is a fascistic model of society, which I disagree with completely. You know, you're creating a kind of a dependency where the government is this big all-powerful thing above everybody, and we're all just here underneath waiting for them and depending on them to keep us safe. It's the opposite of a proper democratic view of society or the world, where you want everybody to be able to take care of themselves and each other, and government really is supposed to preside and administer over a system which is fair and equal for everybody, so that everybody, go away, so that everybody can take care of themselves and not have to depend on the government, who have made themselves into this all-powerful entity who is above everyone, and everyone else is just these scared little simpleton masses who have to wait for the government to come and protect them from each other. But that's not true, and that's something that I want to point out. This concept that the role of government is to keep everyone safe is actually the calling of a fascist structure of government, not a democratic structure of government. Democratic government, you want to devolve power, have smaller jurisdictions, you want to have more courts of law, you want to have community access to resources, more social groups, more community groups where strong, powerful individuals from the community can be empowered to take care of their own society and their own community, and do more to sort of alleviate the causes of crime, which is all to do with sort of access to resources and access to things. This government is making everybody dependent on it, which is the opposite of a democratic government. And the second point that I want to make, which is really important, is that while they want to talk big on sentencing and they want to talk tough on crime, there is actually a 56,000 case backlog in the courts, and that means that it's going to take any court case 4 years to await its trial. And so no matter what they do with this bill, no matter how long they make the sentences, no matter what they say they're going to do to keep people safe, they can't keep people safe at all, because the damage will already be done. It doesn't matter if you increase the sentencing for something. The actual courts themselves are in such a bad condition, so weakened, there's so few of them now, and it takes such a long time for courts to get to trial, that it's redundant whatever they say, and there's going to be a natural delay effect to any bill that they pass, any act that they pass into law. It doesn't matter if they make it a 10-year sentence for something, or if they say that paedophiles are going to suffer longer in jail. Sorry, I got a dog. Suffer longer in jail because of it. It makes no difference, because people can still be attacked and people can still be, criminals will still exist. They're not actually going to do anything about that, and this is just more rhetoric, more hot air from the government. And this is why I say that everything they say is a lie. It's not that it's an outright lie. Can you go? Go! It's not that it's an outright lie, it's that it's like a half-truth. They distort the truth. They just say these statements which are rhetorical. There's no substance to them. They say, we're keeping the people safe, but you're not. And if you examine it, that statement has no substance to it. And it's the way that they emphasize certain things and de-emphasize other things. It makes what they say factually inaccurate. And that's why I say that everything that they're saying is a lie. And you know, if there's perceptive, intelligent people watch them and listen to them, you can see clearly that what they're saying is not true. And you know, the sad reality of it is that everyone's just sort of succumbed to it. Everyone's either bored of it, sick of it, tired of it. They've given up with it. They've become apathetic. They're indifferent. They've got other things to do. They're busy, and so nothing, you know, no real opposition to it can actually coalesce and form, or does, and that's a shame. And that's, I suppose, what I'm trying to do here, is to just make my positions articulate. I'm trying to say what I think and feel, speak out my ideas, point out my criticisms of the things here, even though they've got reams and reams and reams and reams and reams of papers and court documents and committee hearings and things like that. They're all just going round and round and round. They're beating around the bush. They're not getting at the heart of any issue. And this bill here is a perfect example of that. How the whole parliamentary system is just a show, just to appear like we're living in a democracy when we're not. And you know, everything has become so smashed up and atomized. There's no community anymore. There's no society anymore. I'm here in my room, or in my living room, talking to this camera. No one's looking at it. No one cares about it. If they do look at it, they'll think what they think, and that's it. But the opposite side of that is the government and the sort of elites, as it were, who are highly organised, highly orchestrated. They do come together. They have masses of resources at their disposal. They can put through all the changes. They can make the world they want to make, and the people can't do anything about it. So yeah, to round off, or to recap what I just said, two main important points. The role of government is not only or primarily to keep people safe. The role of government is to administer over a fair and democratic society, which has a equal access of resources and smaller jurisdictions, devolved power across the whole country, so that people can take care of themselves and each other, and they don't have to depend on the government. It's the dependency that creates this fascist system. It's unfree, you see. There's no liberty when you're depending, because it doesn't matter what the laws say. If you're dependent on someone, they have the power. That is the essence of power, is dependency. The second point is that the court system is so diminished from what it used to be because of the austerity cuts. 10 years of cuts has shrunk the whole state. It doesn't matter how many laws they pass. They'll never be able to enforce those laws because it takes so long for things to go to court. And if you do find yourself in a position where you get arrested for a crime of like causing annoyance or assaulting a police officer or something, in a protest, you know, maybe it gets a bit heated, a bit of a fracas, you know, a bit violent, what have you, you get the handcuffs slapped on you, you get taken in, you get charged, and then you're going to have to wait for 4 or 5 years for your sentence, and you're never going to be able to prove your innocence. So your life is automatically ruined. So there is no justice. There cannot be any justice without an effective court tribunal system. And this doesn't do anything about the court tribunal system. This only will increase the number of people in the system and never being able to get out. And I suppose at next, or at a later point, I'll have to look into and do a video about the prison system itself, how overloaded it is. You can't make more people more dependent on an already overloaded central government system, which is also very out of touch. That's not good for democracy. That's the opposite of democracy, and that's, I suppose, the overriding theme of this whole thing, is that I'm trying to get at the causes of the degradation of democracy itself in this country, and that's something that a lot of people will be able to know about and talk about. And I want to really raise that awareness, is that we're not living in a democracy, and not the way that it's supposed to be anyway. And as the way things are going, it looks like it's only going to get worse. So that's that short video for today. I just wanted to do one. I'm trying to do one as often as I can, and I'm trying to get better at clinging on to an idea or a thought and then speaking it out, because so often my days are just spent thinking and thinking and thinking and thinking, and they go all over the place, and then if it comes to the end of the day I think I should try and write that down. It's really hard to actually write it down. And so yeah, piece by piece, little bit by little bit, I want to get these thoughts out, I want to get these ideas out into clear spoken word, and I want you to understand that I know what I'm talking about. When I talk, I talk about something that I know what it is, I understand it. I'm not just ranting and rambling. That's something I have done a lot of, but I try to avoid recording that and putting that out to people, because you know, people shouldn't have to suffer all of that. So yeah, that's it for today. To recap again, the 2 points of this video. Creating a dependence on government does not create a democratic society, and having a diminished court system does not help anybody or make anybody safer, and it doesn't matter how many laws you pass. They will be ineffective as long as the court system is so fucked up as it is. That's it.